Ben Clark is on an adventure of a lifetime, and he is keeping us on CNN.com updated all the way. Ben is on a quest to climb up and ski down Mount Burunsi in Nepal. So how is he doing? Ben joins us on the phone right now with an update. My friend, it's a long way from Telluride.
We just spent the last 4 nights holed up in a very small tent, in a very small perch.
We are still stuck here at 21,500 feet. This is day 3, coming up on night 4 of pretty intense weather. You can still hear the wind, you can still hear the snow, and we've occasionally caught a couple of breaks looking down valley today. Looks like it's dumped. So that's about as far as we can see. Sometimes you can see the Lhotse, south face, way out there.
I tell you what, we got blasted around, coming around in our little tent, and one of our climbing team members, unfortunately, is not feeling well. He's got a small case of acute mountain sickness.
Himalayan climbing, everybody should try it at least once. Why not?
In spite of the numerous challenges, difficulties, and unexpected dangers of the Himalayas, I'm continually drawn back to them. Each time, I choose a different way to explore. Tomorrow, I leave to begin another journey to complete the world's hardest trek, the 189-mile-long Snowman Trek in Bhutan, and to complete it in record time. The only way is to run. It's my first trip back to Asia in 4 years. The country of Bhutan is one of the most remote places on Earth. The highways are trails, and there are no cars, just horses. The mountains are stormy most of the year. There's one 3-week window when it's safest. But what happens above 16,000 feet is never predictable. Apart from following locals who know the way, 2 world-class trail runners are joining me on this journey. This is Timothy Olson from Boulder, Colorado. He is a champion trail runner who trains in the mountains.
I feel a lot of people, don't have opportunities to get out and to follow their passions, and just feeling that flow, connecting it all, but also feeling each individual space. I'm enjoying myself, I'm taking care of myself, and just really living free. Whether something goes extremely well or not so well, I'm just happy to be where I am and happy to be in this moment now. And when I'm in the mountains, those are the moments I really cherish.
This is Anna Frost. Without her competitive drive, we never would have accomplished what we set out to do.
Winning and racing doesn't drive me. It's being out in the mountains, exploring, taking on new challenges, seeing what my personal limits are, doing it through honesty and bravery, and just because you want to do it.
So you got Thursday the 29th.
Official time?
Official time? I mean, we're 12:01.
Yeah.
12:01,
nice.
Baby.
Nice.
Ready to go?
We're in Bhutan to hike and run a trail that many consider to be the world's hardest, the Snowman Trek. It usually takes 25 to 30 days if the mountains let you through. We are a team of professional outdoor athletes, and this is Chris. He's here to help me capture this story on camera. Mixing athletics and storytelling is how I choose to explore. Documenting the Himalayas is how I push myself physically and creatively. I first visited the Himalayas on a quest to climb Mount Everest in 2002 and became friends with Sherpas and local guides. For the following decade, I returned and climbed high peaks with American partners, but never climbed with locals, respecting their wishes to facilitate base camps over technical climbing.
As always.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good luck for everything. If I don't make it back, remember, you guys are the best.
Okay.
But yeah, always seem like this.
In 2012, I retired from the technical climbs I used to pioneer, but felt there was still something for me to learn and discover about this region. I had never been to Bhutan, and I was curious about the claimed difficulty of the Snowman Trek. This trek is impossible to navigate without the use of local guides. So I built a team and decided to embrace whatever culture came with the landscape. Bhutan is at the southeastern end of the Himalayan mountain range. The Snowman Trek is 189 miles long and ascends 11 passes higher than 16,000 feet. 4 are above 17,000 feet. It is a highly regulated country where foreign travelers are only permitted to traverse its trails and high mountain passes with a properly equipped entourage. For our team of 4, we have 6 cook staff, 2 horsemen, and 21 horses.
This is easy the whole way.
The Snowman Trek, it's a fairly difficult trek. They do call it one of the most difficult treks in the world. I think that's more about the short window that you've got to get along it. So you've only got about a month or so in which you can get over the passes.
All foreigners who travel to Bhutan must be accompanied by a local guide, and despite our experience, there are no exceptions to this policy. Little did we know that plans and expectations to complete the trek in record time would be met by so much resistance and doubt.
We were around the office and we heard that there is a snowman group. The people wanted to do it in 14 nights, 15 days. Our company manager, the chairperson of the company, they called few of us to the office, like, is there any possibilities of this? So no one is willing to do that. So even myself, I thought it is impossible.
This large expedition style makes testing our speed a much bigger challenge than it would on trails in America. This is because we all regularly run alone to train for separate goals. The trail is also saturated with moisture. Whenever I see raging rivers and steep valleys, it is clear that high above me are going to be mountains of enormous scale and huge deposits of snow. Our belief is that even with this large crew, we can set a record and do this trail fast enough to avoid being shut down by the weather. We're willing to risk what comes with speed at altitude for just a few days running through the landscape of our dreams. But don't get this wrong. There is a lot of bull on this trail. Like, literally a lot of bull, sometimes totally blocking the trail. It is both wild and developing, so you have to show up ready to be a boss.
United States.
You also have to be willing to ask directions and to make friends.
We all really like to hike fast, and so we just wanted to come in and kind of have a nice, really fast hike. It's cool.
Yeah, very beautiful trek, but it's challenging also. And I hope the weather will be favor you.
Yeah.
And I hope you'll do it. But you'll enjoy it.
We tried to do in 17 days total.
Yeah.
Maybe more, maybe less.
Everyone's reaction to our speed goal was the same. That is why I brought the best team possible with a history of endurance racing.
I would describe myself as probably free living, bossy sometimes, determined.
New Zealander Anna Frost has raced the world over. A mountain lover at heart, she has raced at all levels her entire life.
And I guess striving for a lot of things. Striving to make the world a better place, make myself a better person, and to always be doing. I can never sit still for too long.
Not even 20 miles in, I started to realize why the locals didn't want to move fast. In addition to the relaxed culture and risk-averse horsemen, the trail is knee-deep mud that they hike in rubber boots. We came with running shoes, and our feet would always be wet. It sounded so good back home doing research, but horse traffic and high rains had ruined the trail. It became a mud, shit-filled trough we've navigated in running shoes. This is why Bhutan is not known for trail running.
We do have Western games like football, basketball, and all this. The main sports here we have is archery, so that is our national game.
The Snowman Trek is over 500 years old. It is only since it became open to foreigners in 1974 that it has been used for recreational sport. Occasionally, we would see old fortresses and ruins that once served to defend against Mongolian and Tibetan invasions. Today, the Bhutanese lead a less nomadic life, with archery one of the few warlike skills remaining as a national activity.
Running and walking fast, people do, but we are not that good skilled in.
Timothy practiced meditation daily. He has a focus that is world-class. He holds the course record in back-to-back wins at Western States, the United States' first and most competitive 100-mile foot race. He balances an intense training regimen with family time as a father of 2 boys in Boulder, Colorado.
Is that a big one?
This is his first running expedition.
You know, I've been going back and forth through a lot of things. You know, definitely like this is my first time doing a really long hike like this and carrying more gear than I normally do. So it's kind of interesting to just kind of feel what's on my pack, the different things that I bring with me each day, and weather can come at any moment. But right now, like I'm at 13,000 feet. It feels warm it's just a beautiful day right now, getting some sun, taking this moment in because this is perfect.
From here?
But it's a local tea, and it's primarily butter. And this is going to be my honest reaction to it. I haven't had this in years, swore it off, so I'm going to give it a second chance. Mountaineers have short memories, you know. I like sweets, and this is like uber savory, like savory butter. Oh, I don't even like how it feels on my lips. Gross. All right, one more. Okay, cut.
One of the boundaries of this expedition was we could only go as far as we could push the horses, yet people can run and walk further than a horse in a day. So there were a couple of days where we wanted to go further and the horsemen wouldn't. We got into a paddock where they decided this was the end of the day, but it was only about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And I specifically remember there being a lot of tension. Frosty and Tim were quite frustrated, I guess you'd say.
Well, I mean, isn't that kind of the problem? Like, every one of us can blow them out of the water.
Yeah.
Like on that, so.
This type of expedition where moving lighter, faster, and longer each day was new for Bhutan. Here, unlike Nepal and Tibet, The famous Sherpa and Porter expedition style is carried out with the work of horses and a limited human support team.
We want success, you know. We understand. I mean, he just said, he was like, no one wants to do this.
The problem is not just long distances. The most difficult challenge on the Snowman Trek is the constant elevation change. The reason trekkers ascend more gradually is because our bodies have to adjust to the altitude.
As we hit it.
It's gone.
Gone?
Yeah, so I'm guessing mine is like what you had, where you just didn't breathe enough.
Yeah.
Last night, no sleep, a little bit of diarrhea. So yeah, I've definitely felt better, and I can contrast it. I've been in this place before, and I ran away from here feeling really good last time I was here. So it's the contrast between that and how I'm feeling now is huge.
I have had some slight altitude mountain sickness before in the past on other expeditions, other runs at altitude. So I was very wary, and definitely my, I guess, risk radar was definitely very much on.
Whew. It's knocked me around. At the end of the day, I'm the weakest link in the team. You know, you've got a guy who's climbed Everest and ski mountaineered all over the world, and you've got two of the best trail runners at altitude in the world, hard rock and Western States. Whereas I'm just your ordinary runner, so I'm always going to be the weakest link. And in a team situation, obviously you never want to be that. So I'm just conscious that, and unfortunately, I'm the one who's gone down first in terms of a bit of sick guts, and the altitude's definitely kicked me more than it's kicked the others.
Yeah.
It's worth the view.
Yeah. Nice. We're just waiting for Chris, who's suffering a little, as you do, from sea level up to here. I know we're at 4.8 to me, about 4,800 metres. Stormy, which always freaks me out, so I like to get off it as much as I like to be up here.
Yeah, this is probably the highest I've ever been, and yeah, pretty stoked right now. Like, this is what I came here for, to just enjoy the land, get to see some beautiful views, hang with good people, and yeah, I'm just kind of soaking it in.
I'm not dead.
No, you're still firing.
Yeah,
Nice
that was
work.
fun.
Was it?
Oh, I've got a bit of a groove there, but the headache started coming back on.
Is it? Just meditate through it.
Meditate through it.
It is not there, it is not there, it is not there.
Suddenly everybody wanted to get off the pass. We knew the storm was sort of approaching, and then just as I started to follow Timmy down, I had to grab my poles.
Hey, hold up, my poles are up there. My poles are up there. Just go.
And it just let loose like nothing else. Getting pelted by nickel-sized hail, unreal. Snowman Trek is not just a trek, it's a passage through high mountains, and that's just one of more than 11 passes we have to go through at high altitude.
Same districts. 3 of us,
nice.
same districts.
Okay.
I think this is ours.
Nice.
They made it.
Solid horse.
Chris and Anna have both been here before and know the first half of the trail. We always planned to do the typically 30-day trek in 14 days, but when we arrived, we were told it was impossible and it takes 17 days, maybe even 19. After 3 short days, we would be far in front of the horses supporting our expedition, often something we felt was too much anyway. Setting a record in Bhutan and beating the storms was going to be more about negotiating with the locals and staying calm.
We've done 3 10K days,
Yeah.
pretty much, and
Yeah.
we're going to be here till November if,
Yeah.
if we keep doing this. So
The distances we were running were not pushing the athletes physically or mentally.
I mean, I'm at a point where I've lost my patience with it.
Yeah.
And I understand that everyone else has, but we have to be supportive with them.
Like, I'm all up for being adaptable, for flexibility, for change.
The drama or conflict between, I guess, us and the horse crew came up.
But their planning is us finishing on the 18th.
Yeah. Right. We still know that might be the case.
Yeah, but because we get caught out in storms, not because we're doing 10K.
Yeah,
days.
no, definitely not because of anything.
So if we get stuck on the other side of a pass, because
no big deal.
Yeah, then I get it and we'll be late. But I'm not, like, this is not fueling me.
How can we negotiate? And Ben, being the leader, was very good at being the middle ground, you know, just trying to hold everyone's frustrations at bay, but trying to still get what we needed to get out of the crew.
Totally.
Like, I don't want to be finishing it in 18, 19, 20 days.
Yeah, I don't either. And I don't want to keep having these conversations every day and having stress for everybody.
I mean, we're gonna lower those emotions.
Let's just keep our emotions
But also,
in
why
check.
are we paying them so much when our guide is 3 or 4 hours behind?
It's very regimented, so you have your driver, you have your guide, they take you everywhere that they want. You don't really have independence when you come here, which it's nice, it works for them. It's just a different way to travel as an independent person. You know, we're here to like I was saying to Timmy, like to push and to like go and move. But things sort of broke down very quickly. It was a very hard way to accept that we wouldn't be doing what I had intended to be doing.
Living expeditions is hard. Timmy and Anna ran way ahead today. They're really frustrated about the horses. And for me, I just want to be here. So focusing on that and just trying to be a good team leader. And for me, I just want to get home safe and know that I gave it one last shot to come over here and experience the high mountains again. I'm getting older, and this could be the last time.
Over a decade, I climbed throughout the Himalayas with partners from America, pioneering new routes and staying safe. Eventually, the dangers of high altitude, the loss of some great friends, and the birth of my son led to my decision to stop climbing and skiing high peaks. But pioneering and seeing new places was too ingrained in my DNA. I felt the pull every day for years. I never stopped training and used running to satisfy my need to explore my surroundings and push myself in the city, but I kept wondering what was left to do. I came to Bhutan to be challenged by the most difficult trail running in the Himalayas and to share the accomplishment with the locals. That is why I want to set a distance and speed record here with this team. I believe we can accomplish the fastest time around the trek, but slow and steady and in the Bhutanese way. Each meeting with Wan Chu, our guide, is a chance to evaluate how many days it will take and to negotiate for longer days so we push ourselves and avoid mountain hazards by shortening the itinerary.
Yeah, and so is we change horses in Leia, is that correct? Yeah. But one concern we had is when we have weather, we have other things that may make the trip longer, we thought it was a good idea to go ahead because we want to try to be done on 15 October, if possible, just so that it gives us time for weather and all other things, but also to be able to do days that are more, 20K, 25K, 30K, if at all possible, like we had discussed.
So the most challenging thing was to mediate between the clients and the horsemen.
We believe it could be done in 15 days by doubling distances traveled, adding hours on each day. Because the Bhutanese generally don't travel distances that far and every day, the horses and horsemen supporting the trip will not push the distance or the animals. There is still room to negotiate. In 3 more days, we will change horses and horsemen.
If it's a 6 to 7 hour day for a normal trekker, for the horses that might be 5 hour day, maybe.
This was no longer about going as fast as we could. This was more about dealing with our crew and our horse people and moving to what they could.
The best laid plans are often dashed in an instant when altitude is present. And on the morning of day 4, the entire expedition was suddenly in jeopardy.
Straight from the get-go in the morning, I couldn't walk 2 or 3 or 4 steps.
I've got a headache and it's quite weird, and I'm starting to do the little stumbles. My sticks go all over the place.
This is where things started really going wrong.
In Bhutan, you are not allowed to climb above 19,865 feet because the mountains are considered sacred. Still, traversing passes over 16,000 feet can result in acute mountain sickness, or AMS. AMS strikes suddenly with an increase in altitude and can look like the flu by impairing physical abilities. The issue can quickly progress to pulmonary edema, a condition where the lungs fill with fluid and drown the victim.
Feeling drunk, lightheaded, weaving all over the place, not being able to take more than 2 steps without resting, I knew something was desperately wrong.
While I hung back with Chris, Timothy and Anna were unaware of his condition and ran ahead, discovering Bhutan.
I feel blessed.
It's been really slow going, which has been frustrating that we've been dealing with waiting for our guide, who is even slower than the horses. But our cook, Nadine, is leading us now, and he's been leading us, and it's been awesome today, actually moving a little quicker and just taking in the views how we like to do it. And there's Frosty. And there's a bunch of blue sheep right up there. And so as I was hiking up this way, we found this poor blue sheep right here. And talking to some people that I just passed by, they said a snow leopard probably got this. And so I'm glad it wasn't me.
Wanchuk and I made the call to let Chris continue to the next camp, but this was at his request. I started really thinking that there was no way Chris should complete this trek. Our top priority needed to be to get him lower. And I needed to locate Timothy and Anna, who hours ahead of us were also worried.
Me and Frosty were up here and waited for a few hours, and we didn't see Ben or Chris, so we went back down the valley there where we came from, a couple thousand feet drop, and they weren't there. Me and Frosty ran up to the top of a pass and waited there for a few hours, and we thought, where is Chris? He's, so we were worried about him. But I believe Ben and Chris are down that way, and me and Frosty are trying not to get caught in this storm right here that's a brewing. It seems to be over in those mountains.
Vision's a bit blurry today. It's kind of, I'm not here. So I had a good night last night. Today's worse than yesterday.
We started, looking at, do we somehow contact Tim and Anna and do we get them back? But I was pretty pig-headed, and I didn't want them to undertake more miles or more kilometres than they needed to.
When somebody gets sick, like Chris, that one is a bit challenging. He don't want, when we say we can stop and descend down a bit lower, he don't want to do that.
I kind of made the call at that point that we'd be likely calling a helicopter. In retrospect, possibly should have called it then and there, Then the helicopter, it was still daylight, we still had plenty of light left, and the helicopter could have come up and grabbed me earlier. The longer you're at altitude with altitude mountain sickness, the worse it gets.
Yeah. I've felt awful all day. I've been on another planet. I've been groggy, like drunk. But I'm glad we made that push to at least tonight we can be in the same camp, the camp that we plan to be on, and we can monitor me and we can see what's going on with the AMS, and whatever the call is, at least we're together tonight and they haven't had to double back.
I think in my mind at that point I knew I was headed home.
Man, what a day. So most of the day was spent with Chris, hiking along really slowly. Scared to watch him get really sick, especially at altitude, especially here. We're really high. I mean, we're above 12, 13,000 feet, 15, a lot already. And we haven't even hit the biggest passes yet. But yeah, I don't know.
The tough thing about acute mountain sickness is that it comes and goes. After a brief rest, Chris powered his way across the mountain. Once in camp, the emotions and will to carry on that got Chris over the pass gave way to the reality that he was severely ill and needed medical assistance immediately. A major challenge 4 days from a road.
That was probably one of the scariest nights of my life.
So if I want to get out quickly, I can't do it, is that right?
Not
No,
quickly.
until and unless the air goes out.
But you could knock and tell us, okay?
To last another 8 or so hours was sort of rolling the dice a little bit.
You should keep it. You should keep your life.
You know, they tried to get me into a portable pressurization unit, but those units are very, very small. As I was getting into it, I pretty much suffered a panic attack. For whatever reason, at that point, it was too claustrophobic.
Oh, I really don't like this, guys.
Okay, we don't have to do it.
This freaks me out.
Okay, we don't have to do it.
Nighttime, had tough time, like thinking, something may happen to him till the helicopter arrives.
Not your life flashes before your eyes, but definitely your heart and your head goes back home, and at that point you're just wanting to get back home.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, Dave.
You know, kind of in that moment, our perspective on the whole trip changed because we could care less how fast we were going. You know, if we even finished this, we just wanted to take care of our friend and make sure that he was okay.
Oh gosh, that was a rough night. Wow, that was good to get him out.
Yeah.
Let's keep taking care of each other.
Oh yeah.
You can do. Be safe in just a few minutes.
Yeah, isn't that incredible? 23 minutes.
23 minutes, yeah.
We rescued my friend from acute mountain sickness that day on the mountainside in 2009. He fully recovered, and in 2010 cared for me when I needed evacuation due to an ankle injury.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. Just fucking rolled it. Oh.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is a helicopter evac from 17,500 feet, Birdsley Base Camp.
Those experiences helped prepare me for the added pressure that comes with unexpected injuries or illnesses in a remote wilderness. Still, when a victim of altitude sickness gets out of the mountains safely, it's a relief to everyone and a reminder of our own vulnerability.
Let's not do anymore.
Nobody twist an ankle. Nobody sneeze hard. No. Ugh.
I'm gonna take a horse.
Ugh, this is crap. This is hard. We're all crying. Sucks.
I'm gonna ride a horse from here.
Ugh, sucks. But it's over. Oh.
So here we are at Thimphu's largest hospital. It turns out I have a pulmonary edema and altitude mountain sickness, but fluid on the lungs quite badly, which is why I was coughing up all last night and why I had gurgling up out of my lungs last night as well. So, and they've decided to keep me in here in the hospital overnight. So I think I have a night here and then hopefully they'll release me tomorrow morning.
The entire team was affected by Chris's evacuation. As the leader, I needed to stay focused on the task at hand, the additional potential injuries to the team, our slowing pace, the weather, unwilling guides. These were all threats to total failure on this trail. Timothy, Anna, and I were all ahead of the horses and crew because we carried lightweight packs and clothes made specifically for moving fast. That made it possible to explore and engage with local culture we might otherwise have not encountered. This yak herder tent was a welcome break from the drama earlier in the day and gave us a chance to share food and connect with a different way of living than we know at home.
How are you? Good. You're Bhutanese or Nepalese? Bhutanese.
No, I'm good. I ate mine.
You're a yak herder?
So I had some really amazing experiences along the way, and I would, run to a village and get to meet some yak herders, and sometimes they'd invite me in, and I got to drink yak milk for the first time, and try to have conversations with people that, all they could speak was. There's such a variety of languages there.
They like to showed a picture of me and you running.
Oh, cool.
Because I've been here before, I know, that there's yak herders out there and there's little shelters everywhere, and there are people everywhere, really, when you look. But it was really nice to be invited into the yak herders' house and have some milk tea and sit by the fire while we waited for our horses to hopefully come. And know that if they didn't come, then we would have someone that could look after us.
For me, I just go.
In Bhutan, the best guides help the trekkers with the most problems, typically those who fall behind. It was not ordinary for a Bhutanese guide to lead from the front. Horses do that. And for us, it was not ordinary to work with a guide to hike a trail at all. We generally trail run alone.
Most of the time, I always stay back with the weaker person because they need more counseling, like more consolations and more advice.
This style of guiding is the total opposite of the liberating freedom of moving fast with very little equipment that we enjoy as trail runners.
I mean, there was a couple of times where I thought that they'd given up on us, that they had enough. They didn't want to go that extra distance that we had, and that they just packed up their horses and left. And it wouldn't have surprised me, really.
The days felt long as the weather was getting worse and dampening our spirits. I felt equally as frustrated as Timothy and Anna in this slow terrain, and for the locals who were doing their absolute best to accept change in the way they do things. But you have to work with what you've got. If we slowed our pace to that of the horses and guides, we would have been drier, warmer, and more comfortable. But we weren't in Bhutan to be comfortable. We were there to do something no other team had ever accomplished.
Oh, I'm okay. Been sitting for like 4 hours waiting for these people to get here. Freezing cold. That's been a challenge. I'm pretty sure we have the slowest horse people in the world guiding us. Oh, and our guide is probably a few hours back there. Not sure what he's doing.
On the 7th day, it was all downhill. The three of us often spread out and ran our own pace with the excitement of knowing that we would finally have a chance to prove we can move faster than the Bhutanese have ever seen in a town called Laya.
I've been searching for my soul tonight. Think I left it on the road. Drive around so days with no direction to go. Running faster than a hurricane in the morning light. I pursue one perception of you fade into the night. This is where I think.
So, I'm in a little bit of a standoff with that guy right down there, and that's a yak, and he doesn't seem to want to move. I don't really want to get gored right now, and he doesn't really want to move. Okay, Mr. Yak, you want to go? Whee! So, I guess I'm just gonna kind of hang here for a little while. Whee! You're on the trail. Yeah.
The Snowman Trek runs through Laya like a highway. It is in this town where we will change horses and attempt to motivate new horsemen to trim days off our final time.
Getting to Laya was nice, to hope that there was something more coming. And I saw the guys discussing it in the tent together, the horsemen, the horse contractor, our crew. I could just see that it wasn't going to change. It was staying the same pace. We would aim for the 15th, but I really didn't think that we'd be getting anywhere on the 15th.
A horse requires grass pastures for grazing and water for drinking, but they are robust and strong animals who do this work on the trail for most of their lives. Horses typically travel less than 6 miles a day, and groups factor in rest days for both trekkers and crew. If it were up to us, we would not take horses and would carry our own gear. Saddles and shoes have to be constantly maintained even at the slower pace, and this costs time. But we knew we couldn't finish on schedule or at all without willing guides and horsemen. We also knew whoever agreed to come with us would be taking a risk. At that night's meeting, we laid it all out.
So I told him, like, he says that if people runs like that, he can do in 90s. He told me like that.
I'm sure.
Not with the stuffs and horses.
Yeah, no, horses, yeah.
So that is the main problem is with the stuff and the horses.
Yeah.
무슨 다 대한테 수고 임마리 수고다. 샘플이 내가 지도 임마리 말이 수고다. 나 임프루브 받이 임마리 말이 아름드 수.
So they accepted one day
Yeah.
to shorten. Then what they says is they told him that better not to do this trek because if they lose one horses, they are going to cost them a lot.
Right.
And it's something that they really have to depend. So like changing plan, it is not that difficult, but to convince the horsemen because they are really worried about losing their horses.
So all I can see is that we go with them for the next 4 days, and then we pack our bags and we go. We leave them to arrive when they get there.
But you have to remember, we always have to have a guide. We don't know where any of the campsites are. I understand what you're saying, but we always have to
Well, these guys will come with us.
Perhaps.
See, yeah, you're ready.
We're really just driving, and I understand you're trying very hard. I understand everyone here is trying very hard. All of you are trying hard, and I appreciate it and understand it. But it's just getting to a point where it's like we are banging our heads against the wall, and I get.
They say if they keep on walking and keep on doing the double camping, so they say there won't be proper grasses for the horses, proper rest. So it may not die instantly, but it won't last for longer. This is the excuses that they made. I think they are right also.
Pushing the pace of the horses and horsemen was dangerous because if just one horse got injured, malnourished, or sick, it would stop the entire expedition and cause financial ruin for the horsemen.
But they think that they can bring the horses out on the 15th?
Not on 15. 15, no point of 15 if they can come out.
We can come out on 15.
So that whether we can.
So yeah, I sat through the meeting. I could see that there was a lot of discussion, and that discussion to me meant that this was not something they were going to do. This is not something they had done, and it was not something that was possible.
And we know that we know this is complicated, but if there's a way to shave off one more day, at least one more day, would be very good.
At that point, for me, the main thing was that Chris was safe. We'd just learned that when we were in Laia. And then anything else that happened, I just accepted would happen.
So it's been, I think, 4 or 5 days now since I've come off the mountain. I ended up spending 2.5 days in the hospital with the pulmonary edema. They thought I had a little bit of pneumonia as well. The upshot here is that I've been on a barrage of antibiotics. My lungs are feeling a whole lot better. I'm assuming pretty much fixed. We're just rearranging flights, etc., to get me home now to my family. Team's still up on the mountain. I see the updates. I have internet here, so I can see that they're travelling okay. Sounds as though they're still going a little bit too slowly for their liking, but I really do wish I was up there rather than down here.
You know, I've accepted that we're not moving fast, we're not moving far, so it's nice just to move with sort of acceptance and peace in this beautiful place. And yeah, there's a lot of things holding us back, and maybe in a few days when we get closer to Bhutan, we can actually wind it up a little bit with some of the crew that are quite keen to see how they can move as well. So that'll be interesting to see what happens in a few days' time.
Did you have many times Snowman Trek?
Tomorrow,
Awesome.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Getting on the same page was never a certainty, but we believe that at least now, the record could be in our sights if we work together. Anna is a world champion and leads by example. The best way to get the locals moving faster was to show them how.
You can become so selfish when you're running and you're training, and it's a very self-centered sport. So to be able to give back to the sport and really help, and that goes back all the way back to the essence of trail running, of why we do it. And it's not always a personal thing. It's sometimes, and more often, to see other people succeed, to see other people challenge themselves, and through your inspiration, achieve something that they thought was impossible.
Excited that we are moving now. I think we're gonna kind of get into a nice rhythm. You know, not moving as fast as we could, but with a whole group, it turns into a team effort. And you know, you just can't. It's not a one-man show. You can't just go and fly and expect it to work out well. So you need to really work as a team, and that's what we're doing now.
Sometimes you just get, kind of sandbagged, and it seems like no one really thought about it in Bhutan until after we were here, which is unfortunate. But the itinerary always said take a certain amount of days. Everyone had that, and now that we're here living it, it wants to change, and that's really hard to do with this culture.
I'm just trying to accept what is and be grateful that I'm out here enjoying the mountains. It's my first time in Bhutan, first time in such wild, high mountains like this. We're gonna be going over a couple 17,000 foot passes. Yeah, that's gonna be a challenge, but I'm really excited for that challenge.
As we approached our 5th pass on day 9, the Snowman Trek had lived up to its reputation and started to deliver the alpine conditions that we love.
Nice work.
Yeah. Great view. Yeah. Wow.
High five.
I'll take it. Yeah.
Boom. Nice work.
Nice. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh, this is the first snow on the Snowman Trek.
Yeah, I know. Good amount up here too.
What's that?
There's a decent amount.
Woo! Not my best work, Tristan, but this will do. Not a lot of sticks up here. It's about as good as I can do.
Well, we are at 16.5.
We are. No, we're above that. We're almost at 17.
Wow.
Yeah, let's see what I get. Yeah, 16.9.
Wow.
I'm at right here. Not bad. I don't even feel that shitty.
'cause I can't slow down.
Hello.
Great.
Good work.
Good job.
Strong horses.
These horses are moving. Like over the 2 passes today, we'd look behind and there they were again. So I feel like we have a solid horse team.
I know how great walking is. I know that it gives me a lot of pleasure, that it's good for our bodies, and when you slow down the pace a little bit, you can think more and you can maybe see more. I could focus more on just where we were, even though the sky was down in front of me and the mud was up to my knees and it was a very small space that I was in.
On day 10, it started to rain again for the 6th straight day. I hate rain. I mean, like, I really hate rain. Every moment felt more and more damp until I shut off and started thinking about the city again, thinking about a great sunset on my rooftop, being on time, running, no jackets, no rain, music, anything. And then another blink, and here I am again, back in the forest, back in the rain, soaked. I actually want to be here, really, I do, but I don't always love it. We're on day 10 now of hopefully 16 and a half. It has been epic the last couple days. It's not about just how fast we are. That's the deal. We're here to set a high mark and to work with this culture, to do something unique and interesting. And I'm really glad we are. I know that it's been stressful and frustrating sometimes for everybody, but for me, I'm just sort of take a back seat, trying not to complain too much because I kind of know what's going on and how it's gonna be. And even though it's super wet and this is the absolute least favorite climate of all time for me, you know what? I'm psyched because we're about 6 days out and everyone's healthy and I think we're gonna make it. So I'm psyched. Every journey in the Himalayas comes with some sacrifice, and spending so much time alone on the trail makes each interaction a chance to appreciate the local culture and also to remind us of what we are missing back home. I am a father, and so is Timothy. His family is halfway around the world in Boulder, Colorado, and is always on his mind.
So as a family, each night here, we just wanted to have kind of a nice routine for going to sleep. We've just kind of made the routine of having tea time. So we make some tea, we light a candle, and we just say a few things of what we're grateful for that day. For me, tea time is such a really intimate, connection with my kids, with my wife. Do you want to say what you're grateful for?
No. You turn.
My turn? I am grateful for Tristan and for Kai and for Mommy. So then when I go on a big trip like this, they still have tea time every night. And Tristan was really big on it because we kind of planned it about the same time. So for him, he was having tea time at night when I was waking up and having tea time. So we kind of synchronized it so we'd be having tea time at the same time. And for me, I was thinking about my family back home who was going to be going to sleep, and I could be in Bhutan, being rained on, being whatever was going on externally, but I could be there thinking of my family and thinking about what I'm grateful for.
Cheers!
You forgot me. Cheers.
Cheers. It meant a lot to me on the trails because there's, those hard moments and those moments where you're just really, why am I doing this? I'm really missing my family, and the people that you really love, you really care about, you're always connected with them no matter where you are. And it was a good realization that I could be out on the trail having tea time and I can be thinking of my family and still connecting with them even when I'm, a whole world away.
Nice one.
The team is over halfway through the trail with the highest and most challenging passes to come. From the village of Tansa, most teams descend to Sefu for an abridged version of the Snowman Trek, avoiding 7 additional high-altitude passes and formidable weather that can result in being stuck for weeks on the wrong side of a mountain range. Our guides, motivated now by our same goal, have chosen to take the path less traveled, wishing to accomplish the record on the undisputable, if harder, Snowman Trek that ends in Dur.
Oh, look at these views.
Yeah, he's way out there.
You saw him there?
Yeah.
The mountains, like, you never know what to expect. So, you know, you can have some type of agenda where you want to try to do it in so many days, but in the end, the mountains, you know, make it happen, and sometimes they don't let you pass, and you just got to be super grateful when they do.
Like Anna and Tim, they are very fast, but when they reach at the campsite, they are not upset. When they see us, they come to us with their smiley face. And the crew members, the cook, ourselves, like, we don't feel hesitated or uncomfortable inside. No, like, they are happy. Okay, good.
Tim and I have been really good friends for a while as well, and he came into the trip probably as I did, with the intention of doing the fastest known time. He obviously went through a lot of frustration because he couldn't move as he wanted to move. While I was going through the acceptance process, he was trying as well, and I think he took a few more days than I did.
Like others I have brought to the Himalayas before, I learned no one makes it through without learning something about themselves, inspired by the mountains and the culture.
When I let go of my selfish reasons of being here, letting go, even though they were, I don't think, out of the ordinary or something that, you know, I should be ashamed that I came here and wanting to work hard and do a cool trek. Like, I think I came here still with a good mindset, but in the midst of it, I got a little lost and just wanted to push hard, and that's great for me if I want to push hard, but you got to think of other people and think of other people's feelings. And I may not be pushed to my limits physically, but I'm here to be inspired by great people who are kind, compassionate, and willing to bend over backwards for us. I was blocked for a little while, and now it's making sense. So, excited to see this finished. I'm hoping to see some sun at some point, maybe some mountains, and otherwise just being okay with whatever the next few days brings, and just really trying to be in the moment and try to just be here with these great people and take it in, whatever it is.
It was a very hard and intense project right from the start. The crew were amazing, that they finally came to the concept of what we were doing and what we wanted to do and how we moved and how they could also move. It was more about them believing in themselves and agreeing, okay, so let's at least try.
It's a very hard trek. Not everyone completes it, and here we are, really not physically having the hardest time, but emotionally dealing with ourselves, our expectations, and our own abilities. Bringing that to Bhutan and making it possible for others to share in what we love is really the point.
Now that we had traversed the highest pass with a faster team of guides and horsemen, only one big mountain day separated us from success. We stayed closer as a team and prepared mentally and physically to finish what just a few days ago seemed extremely unlikely.
I just focus the talk to our crew members. Take the talk from the office league. There are lots of people ready to see us coming back unsuccessfully. So if we are successful, you don't have much thing welcomed by other people, or you will get scarf, but internal satisfaction will be there, and you are doing something totally different. Anybody of us may come for Snowman Trek, but not like this. We may not get a chance to do again. So better grab the chance that you have in your hand.
You're just wet and it stays cold in your body. Whereas last night up there it was just like cold and then you just wrap up and you're warm. And it's like wet from underneath you and beside you and above you, and it's wet makes mud, some more mud in our shoes and our toes. So it's exciting for tomorrow. Mud. Glorious mud.
How are you feeling about the weather tomorrow and tonight?
So tomorrow,
Not too much snow. We should
not too much snow and similar weather like today.
Yeah.
Brighter
and sun.
Yeah.
Sun. Makes us all very happy.
The thing about the Himalayas is that it always takes it to the next level. Just when you think you've really had enough, it's been incredibly hard, you have a moment, a gotcha, an aha moment, where you think, oh shit. And to finish whatever journey you're on, it's going to take just a little more than you expected. This is that moment. Cold, wet, hard to find the trail. Then the horseman asked me, would you be mad at me if I said I couldn't find the trail and that we are lost?
That day it was a bit difficult and weather was bad. No proper trail, he couldn't find the trail well. He made us to stop for some time. So that one is tough. Yeah.
Good morning. You know, you've got this old man breaking the trail through the snow with his blind horse, and we moved slow.
All right, Frosty.
Whoa.
How about it?
It's an enormous valley. And as we got higher and higher and higher, obviously the snow got deeper, the weather got colder. I was starving hungry just because we were moving so slowly and doing a mile in 4 hours, it seemed like.
When you talk, it is easy, and when you do the things, it's a bit difficult. Oh shit, why we did that? That.
Photos.
How did that happen?
I think it had something to do with the mud and the snow and the cold and the rocks and the days of it.
It's been quite the day with mud. Mud, snow. It's the Snowman Trek. We're doing it up. Like the other route, you don't get this experience. To Bhutan we go, and we are getting it in full effect.
We were lost, cold, and near the edge of our gear and resources capability.
And then the old man went to ask the herders where we're supposed to go. Well, the old man just disappeared somewhere.
The day had gone longer, the distances were greater, and the failing memory of our lead horseman forced us to take refuge in a small yak herder hut where we couldn't stay due to decreasing temperatures.
I was right on the edge of not coming back from hypothermia. I was so cold, the coldest I've been in a very, very long time. If we walk faster with you and Naren at the front, we will go. But if you walk fast,
Yeah, we have to go fast. Our hands, our feet, we didn't know no mud boots, and so our feet we just never knew. So we're all wet inside and really cold, and our hands are frozen, and yeah, it's tough.
Yeah. It's a tough decision, but I think.
Well, if we're gonna go, we should go now.
Yeah.
Let's go.
We had to keep moving down the trail in the dark.
Holy crap.
So, we were basically hypothermic, freezing our asses up there as our horseman got us really lost and then just disappeared for like an hour. We went to a yak hut, warmed ourselves up, and now we went over a big pass and bombing down through this mud, water. It's been just like a waterfall the whole way. It's been freaking amazing. It went from like the worst day to the best day, and so we're just gonna keep flying and enjoying it.
We were up to our knees in mud and water and creeks and poop again, but to be able to actually move and explore for me was it was nice. It was like okay, we don't know where we're going, we don't know what we're sleeping in, or if we're sleeping anywhere, if we're keeping on going, if we're lost, where the heck are we? But it was that sense of adventure that sparked a light in me again.
We descended thousands of feet into a valley where after one rest day, we were within 25 miles to the finish. The team was tired, and on day 14 required their first full day of rest. This was bigger than anything they had ever done in their lives. We shared our food and experience to help them recover and prepare for one last big day, our final day, with the time and distance record now in our sight.
It tastes like frosting on a cake. It's mocha, like chocolate and coffee, and there's caffeine in it. So if you're feeling a little low going over the pass, you take one of those and you go zoom. Okay. Chocolate and caffeine, just like a mocha, like putting, coffee and some chocolate.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hey.
This is it, last morning. It's been just over 15 days. About to set a record finish for the Snowman Trek. And the sun is finally out. And it's all hopefully over today, safe and sound.
To see them all finish and complete it in a day earlier than even what we thought was a massive sense of achievement for us, that we had helped them achieve that.
So the teamwork, positive thinking, so that made us to make a history for the Snowman Trek. The biggest satisfaction is inside, so you don't feel the pain. When you press your leg, you feel the pain, but after some time, again you have a satisfaction. You relax on your bed, you think of that.
We had, high moments, low moments, but when you sit back and you think about it and got to share some really cool adventures with people like Anna and people like Wang Chu and Bima and Naren, you gain a lot from that. So I learned a lot from the experience. I learned a lot from the culture and the people that I met along the trail.
Going over one last pass, I finally took it slow. It had been so many years of exploration in the Himalayas, and as I neared the end of this last journey, the desire of wanting to climb the peaks was gone. And now it was clear that just returning to learn more about this beautiful and unique culture would be reason enough. Seeing our impact and the increased pace of our guides and knowing that we had brought new ideas and possibilities into the next generation of crews and horsemen reminded me that even in the most remote parts of the world, working and learning together as a team brings about the most meaningful change and purpose. We had truly done it together.